Alright, so the topic for this evening is what it would be your secret weapon if you ever got into a fight. So what?
I've never been in a fight, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what my secret weapon would be. But if I could pick a weapon to be my secret weapon, it would it would probably be a plastic sword.
Why a plastic sword?
Well, I can't necessarily use a real sword, can I?
But it's a secret. It's like a secret weapon, and it's a fight.
Yeah, but I don't want to kill anybody.
But what if? Okay, well, the topic is not what if you were in a serious situation kind of thing.
Okay, well, I
So,
was just thinking about the consequences of actually being in a fight.
well, I have never been in a fight either, so I don't know. Like a secret weapon.
You're
If I was like really good at it, I would probably do. Oh, what is that called? Is it keto? It's like that really long pole. It's, not, I mean, it's
bow
something.
staff.
Yeah.
It's called a bow staff.
Well, no, there's a specific term for it. I don't want to take too much time because we only like 4
I'm
minutes.
pretty sure you can get by just by saying a bow staff.
Bow staff. Okay. Well, that. If I was really, really good at it, I would choose that. Only because, I used to be in color guard in school and I kind of know my way around it.
Yeah.
So even if today, like if I got into a fight with somebody, that would be my weapon of choice. Do you remember, I think it's Eddie Murphy that did that movie, like Coming to America or something like that?
Yeah. When he was a prince.
Yeah, and then he's like working at McDonald's or something and they're holding up the store and he like slowly undoes the mop and then he beats the crap out of that guy.
Oh yeah.
That was a great moment right there.
That's actually really easy. I wouldn't even mind just undoing it. I'd probably just break it off with my foot.
Just over your knee?
Yeah, but then it'd turn into a deadly weapon after that, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you'd end up stopping somebody.
Okay, then I can't do that. I guess a non-lethal weapon. I guess it would still be lethal, but I was gonna say nunchucks. But if you hit somebody over the temple with them, I'm pretty sure you could kill them.
I'm terrible at nunchucks because, like, I would be like in that movie, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. April is like trying to explain to that pizza guy that they're her nunchucks,
Hmm.
and she's like trying real hard, and she's not really good at it.
Now, see what
I
the
would whack
thing.
myself in the face.
Well, see, the thing about me is I'm not gonna try to do any of that fancy shit. I'm just gonna whip it out and start flailing my arms around like a man person when I hit somebody.
You're just trying to make sure that you're crazy enough that you'll scare them away, and they won't try to mess with the crazy person.
Pretty much. I mean, I picture fights being like 60% mind games, 40% actually fighting. If you can freak out your opponent, but
I
to where they don't actually want to fight, then that's a win in my book.
I have heard where someone had tried to break into this old man's house and he was like naked and the intruder left because it just freaked him out too much.
Well, that's just an intruder. I mean, of course, I would leave too if I happened to break into somebody's house and they'd be naked right there in the middle of the room. Like, dude, I'm sorry.
Okay. So like secret weapon wise, you'd have to conceal it very well, you know? Can't be something really big like a plastic sword.
I mean, I figured I could like strap the plastic sword behind me, like on my back or something. And with at least nunchucks, I could tuck them in my pants.
But let's say somebody's coming up from behind you, they'd be able to see the sword or the nunchucks. I mean,
I'll have a jacket on. I could just put on a jacket.
well, what if there's like certain situations where you're not wearing a jacket? I mean, you're not going to be super prepared all the time. I don't think that you're that kind of person that you're just like really prepared for any kind of thing that can happen.
I can be starting now.
You just be really paranoid because of all that.
Yeah.
I remember an episode of like Curious George where he just didn't want to be out and unprepared, so he took like a bunch of stuff with him
Hmm.
to make sure that he could endure any kind of weather. At first, he was like putting on stuff for winter, and he'd go outside and it would be all hot and stuff, and then he'd change, and then it would get rainy, and he just couldn't win. So
Okay,
in the end, he just took everything with him.
I'll just carry a briefcase with me then.
A briefcase.
Yeah, then that way I can have my. I was gonna say that way I can have my plastic sword, but it's gonna be strapped to my back. I'll just wear a jacket at all times.
It just sounds like you're gonna Tony Stark it, you know.
Well, yeah, that's, I want to be prepared, like you said. But I'll have my nunchucks in the briefcase. I can have throwing stars in the briefcase. Even though I suck at throwing stars, I could have like a butter knife in there. I could have all sorts of cool things that a mugger wouldn't expect.
You know how weird you would look?
Well,
Just like a trench coat full of stuff, and people would just be like, "Why is he wearing that? Like, why?"
are you
In a
saying
briefcase,
I'm gonna attract
like,
more people towards me?
yeah, I think so. I mean, you trying to be, what's the word? Like you blend in with the crowd. You know, you're trying to blend in as much as you can,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So,
I mean, I feel like I can blend in pretty well, even with a trench coat and a briefcase. I'll just look like I'm a high business person. Yeah, I know I don't look like the business person type, but still. And, I guess if I could have anything else that was concealable, it would be like one of those taser guns. I know you can't get a taser gun because that's like certified only to policemen. But if I could get my hands on a taser gun, it'd be a taser gun. That way I know
oh,
it.
like the ones that you pull the trigger and it just kind of leaps out and.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's taser, was it like normal tasers, right?
Yeah, the ones that are like handheld and you just stab somebody with your taser.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want a gun.
Do you know that they make tasers that are shaped like everyday items? There's ones that are like cameras, and it has a strap on it. So like if the attacker grabs it out of your hand, the pin comes out of the taser, and they can't use the taser on
Sounds
you.
like a grenade.
I know, right? Like tell them step back or it's gonna blow up.
Well,
But you know, so stuff like that,
yeah. Well,
just really neat.
snap. I can't really. Those. I mean, I don't want to say a gun, because that's the most common secret weapon of all.
Yeah, everyone kind of goes for that.
It's gonna be cheap. If I had my way, I'd settle everything back with swords and shields again. But this day and age, you have to actually have a secret weapon, otherwise, you get sucker punched.
You mean training, or do you mean like weapon, like a physical weapon?
What do you mean? Whenever I said sword and shield?
No, like you said, secret weapons. Like you would have to have a secret weapon in this day and age.
Yeah, like you have to have something concealed to protect yourself, because you're gonna get caught. You're gonna have a mugger on you, and what if you don't know how to fight? How else are you gonna get away or win that fight? So
See, I like the stories of like the unlikely strength in a victim. You know, someone that's like looks old and has like this really cool strength and is able to overcome an attacker. There was a story about an old man who's a boxer, and a young man broke into his house, and he ended up punching him in the face and holding him until police got to his house.
yeah. Well, see, stuff like that makes me thankful that I actually know how to fight, even though I've never actually been in a fight. I'd
Right.
rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather know how to fight and never fight in my life than get into a big ass fight and just stand there like an idiot and get my face punched in.
Yeah. I feel like your instincts would kick in if you ever got into a fight.
I mean, the only thing I would really do at first would probably be to get around them and German suplex their ass into the ground. Then I'd probably go to jail because that might kill somebody.
But like I was gonna say, but you have training, so let's say it's someone that has never had any kind of training like me, like I've never trained to be in a fight, never been in a fight.
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
And before I had my training, that's still what I would do. I would just try to make a point. If they came at me, I would get around them and make sure that I had my arms around their waist, and I'd throw them down and put them in a headlock.
See, there's different types of fighting out there. I was watching some videos, like World Star and stuff like that.
World Star.
I know, right? They do a lot of the hair pulling, a lot of the punching, and it's just like, you could take someone down fairly quickly if you knew the right technique, if you just had it in your mind of counterattacks and things like that.
Yeah.
There was a story actually about a guy. I don't have so many stories. So I'm on the internet a lot, so I read tons and tons of these stories. But this young guy, I guess, was about to get stabbed by his ex-girlfriend, and he ended up taking the sword away from her. And they did an interview, and he said that all of his training by watching movies, kung fu movies, had prepared him for that moment.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of how I train myself before I actually went to like training for fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch a lot of pro wrestling. Obviously, I was a pro wrestler.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's real, and
Kung Fu is real.
I mean, Kung Fu is real for sure, but let's say you have someone who's very impressionable, who's watching these Kung Fu movies, and it's taking the Kung Fu seriously. If he's not being trained by a professional and he's just taking it upon himself to learn all this stuff, there might be a slight chance that he could be good, but you never know. Like,
well, that's not the question, though. I mean, the question is if it's a good idea, I suppose, right?
Is it a good idea?
As long as you have an ace in the hole, a secret weapon, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. It's like, haha, joke's on you. I watched 1,000 kung fu movies for this one moment. You should have thought better.
And they even have their own secret weapons, like in the kung fu movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, no, there's some movies that we've watched, like the Forbidden Kingdom. The Monkey King had his staff. The girl in that movie also had a poison dart.
Those aren't secret weapons, though. Those are necessary weapons.
This is very secret. I mean, it looked like she had like this thing like a pin that you put in your hair, but it carried poison in it. So, like, if she would throw it, it would pierce somebody.
Those are their main weapons. A secret weapon is something that you have in case you're going to lose.
Like Jackie Chan's character being the drunk monk.
How's that a secret weapon?
It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty secret if you don't know about the technique.
Okay.
Like, if no one's really familiar with being a drunk kung fu master.
It's not necessarily a secret weapon. That's just you getting into a fight with someone that you don't know who knows how to fight like that. So.
Can you imagine, like, just being totally wasted and someone just trying to run up on you and it's like, I know the kung fu, and they're like, this guy's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? We're about to jump you. No, I know the drunk kung fu. Let me just get in my groove real quick.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind learning drunk fighting. I want to be able to do leg sweeps with my legs, but that's too quick.
Like in Karate Kid?
Yeah. Kind of.
I feel like I would definitely fall on my butt lots of times. And, I'd get hungry too often and have to stand up and eat and get lots of gas, just like in that movie.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd use as a secret weapon?
Poison Ivy has her vines.
Okay, let's stick to realistic. Let's stick to realistic weapons. Is there anything else?
But you could make a whip. I mean.
Yeah, you can make a whip. All you got to do is get a bunch of rope,
like
put
Indiana
something hard
Jones
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, put something weighty at the end, and then just start swinging it around like a mad person. I would take my swords, or my sword.
Yeah, you do have a sword, a katana, and I just have like a little small knife. That's all our defense weapons, really. I mean, if someone was to break in...
Or dogs.
Our dogs.
But they're outside.
Yeah.
In a cage.
Yeah.
Or
all they would do is just bark.
Not a cage, it's a pen. But that's all I can think about besides the plastic sword and then throwing stars and the butterfly knife and the nunchucks and maybe a bow staff, like you said.
Remember you used to have that butterfly knife and you were going down the highway? And then you were messing with it and you threw it out the window?
That was my friend's butterfly knife.
Oh. I bet he was pretty upset about that.
Yeah, but...
Well, if you don't have any other secret weapons, I think that wraps it up for now.
No, besides my guns. My... Oh, yeah.
Des and Troy.
Yeah, Des and Troy.
Des and Troy. Destroy.
Alright.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us, and you can find Robert at
Frolic with Frog Splash.
Frolic with
on YouTube. I game almost every day. It's primarily a game called Smite, Battleground of the Gods, but occasionally I will hop on Monster Hunter and Destiny 2 and God of War to mix things up, because since Smite's very strategic, I get mad. So, yeah.
Alright, well, you guys can find him there, and thanks for joining us for this podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.